Another way to do mirror of the mind wrong, or to get a result that you don't want, is to have some programming that's the opposite of what you think you're programming. And by that I mean you may be going to level, and for a few minutes each day you're visualizing something in your life. But 24 hours a day you are visualizing the opposite. And I've had a very interesting experience with this in my own life. That is that, first of all, when you're highly emotional and something happens to you and you think a thought while you're very emotional, that's a very strong programming time. It's like all your brain neurons are so on and so alert, and then you say something to yourself. That can be a very strong program. So sometimes you may be going to level and programming something, but the opposite will occur, and that's because you programmed the opposite during a time of heightened emotion. As an example, I was in Seattle a number of years ago at a Silva class, and there was a woman there who said that several years earlier she had been in places where she had won 2 contests in a row. And she began to think of herself as a contest winner. And she thought of herself as a contest winner when she was in a heightened emotional state. She was all excited and she just won the contest, and she thought, I win contests all the time. And what happened was, even though she was not a Silva graduate, we all do mental programming no matter what, she started literally winning contests wherever she went. In fact, it was so obvious to even other people that if she went to a party and there were just a little prize, a door prize, people would say, don't even bother to register for the door prize because Claudia always wins the contest. So she had this habit of winning contests, and she attracted that in her life. And one time she went to a very fancy affair where she had on a beautiful long evening gown. It had a big slit up the side, and she had on very high heels, and she won the prize. And so at the end she walked up on this stage to get the prize. But the stage was something that they had made at the last minute, and they had nailed it together with some pieces of wood. And when she walked up the stairs, the spike of her heel stuck down in a crack in the step, and it turned, and she fell down, and her dress split wide open. She was just embarrassed, and it was very awkward, and she was humiliated. And at that moment, she thought, I never want to win a contest again in my life. It was during that emotional time that she thought that. And guess what? It's been years since then, and she's never won a contest. It was real interesting that I heard that experience while I was in Seattle, because I did not know it, but I was having a similar experience at that very time. And learning this helped me to be a better Silva instructor. When I had taught my class just before I left to come to Seattle, I had a lot of challenges in that class. And there were some people that really gave me a lot of challenge. And at that time, I would always program for 30 people in each class. In the United States, we have much smaller classes. Now I usually have about 100 people in each class, new people. But I programmed for 30 people in each class, and there would always be about 30 or 31 or 32 people in the class. There were 32 people in that class, but I had a lot of challenges with the personalities of those people. And so I remember I was just exhausted at the end of the class, and I remember saying to a graduate, while I was traumatized, feeling exhausted from this class, I said, next time I want half this many people in my class. And then I forgot all about that. Well, I went to Seattle to take a Silva class there, and every day I would program with Mirror of the Mind that my class at home, when I came back, I would have 30 new people. And so when I got home, well, first of all, while I was in Seattle, I kept having this kind of a twinge. It was just a funny feeling that it wasn't going to work. It's the same kind of feeling that you get when you're doing cases and you can feel that someone's sick, or that their foot hurts, or that their heart is troubling them. And So I was actually getting feedback that it wasn't happening. And so I thought, what do I really, really want? Because the number in the class is not important. What I want is a really meaningful experience with some people. So I just started programming to have a wonderful experience and to teach the people well, whoever I taught. And so when I went back to my hometown of Greensboro, I found out that the man that was supposed to mail out my newsletters had not done it. So a lot of the people who wanted to take the class could not sign up for it. And so when I went in to teach my class, guess how many people were there? 16. Exactly half the number that I had had in my other class. And I had programmed, I want half this many people in my class. Now, when you've got something like that, I think of it as an umbrella that's over you. There was an emotion-backed program that I want half the number 32 in my class next time. And it was above me. So it's like mirror of the mind is trying to focus energy to get a goal. It's like when you take a magnifying glass and you take all the sunshine, you get it through the magnifying glass, you can hold it just the right place over a leaf. And it can actually focus the energy so much that it burns a hole in the leaf. But if you can't get the sunshine, there's no energy to focus. So we don't make the energy that creates things happening from mirror of the mind. The energy is already there. We simply focus it. And we direct it with our thoughts. But if there's an umbrella there, the sunshine can't get through. So if you have an old program that's very, very strong, that's the opposite of what you're trying to program for in the present, it can stop you from having the energy to make your goal come true. So in that case, if that ever happens to you and you get that twinge like something's wrong, something's not going to happen, then you should go up and look and see, what's this program that's keeping me from getting my goal? And then change that. And in my case, what had happened was I still had a belief that I had to get out there and control everybody's experience in my class, that I had to make them have a benefit from the method. And now, of course, I realize that's not true, that I just put the information out there, it works for everybody, everybody gets it at their own pace. Some people are fast, some people are slower, but everybody benefits. And I can teach 1,000 people in one class. And everybody benefits. So what I needed to do was to go back and change that limiting belief that I had to get personally involved in everybody's experience in the class, because that's very difficult to do if you have very many people. If I had known that at the time, I could have gone into my level and put that belief in the blue frame mirror and then gotten rid of that and put in the white frame mirror, visualizing myself when the white frame mirror comes in from the left, visualizing myself really being able to effectively teach large groups of people and having them enjoy it. And then I wouldn't feel the need to have a small group. But anyway, it was a learning experience for me. I had a wonderful class, everything that I programmed for. And it taught me how important the emotion programming is that we do. Now, another thing in Mirror of the Mind, I think of mirror of the mind as like planting a seed in the garden and then doing the kind of things that it takes to make it grow into a beautiful plant. Now, the first thing you do when you plant a seed in a garden is you take away the weeds, because you wouldn't just stick a seed in the ground and there are weeds everywhere, because the weeds would choke out the energy that must go to the seed. So when you go out and you pull the weeds, that's mental house cleaning. It's like you start cleaning out the negative beliefs that you have that have kept you from having this goal. Then you plant the seed. And then you water it some. And then you go inside and you get away from it. Now, if you go inside and you think, I wonder if that seed is really sprouting. I wonder if it's really sprouting. Gosh, I don't think it's really sprouting. Then you go back outside and you dig it up to see if it's sprouting. And when you dig it up, you disturb the energy flow. So then you put it back in the ground and you come back inside and I don't know if it's really sprouting. So you go up and dig it up. And every time you do that, you disturb the energy flow. It will never sprout like that. That is called doubt. When you doubt, it's like digging up the seed of your programming and disturbing it. So how do you keep from doubting what you're programming for or visualizing? It helps a lot to read about people who have already done what you've done. If you're programming to have a successful business, read about people who have been successful, who have overcome big obstacles, who have done the impossible. If you're working on changing something in your body and overcoming an illness, then read about people who have done it. Another way to build up your belief is to think about times in the past when you have achieved something that was remarkable. And think about that before you do your programming to build your belief. But it's very important not to dig up the seed. Don't doubt in your goal. Another thing is when you believe you're not worthy of your goal. Now sometimes you'll be programming and you'll feel kind of a funny feeling, and sometimes you have to ask yourself, do I really feel worthy of this goal? Do I feel like I deserve it? Because that could be like an umbrella hanging over you, keeping the sunshine away. So if you feel like that's true, then you need to go back and reprogram that limiting belief. So in the blue frame mirror, I feel like I don't deserve it. In the white frame mirror, I do deserve it. Of course I deserve it. Give yourself a million reasons why you deserve it. Write down reasons why you deserve it. Build up that feeling of deserving it. Then you don't have any conflict about getting it subconsciously. And then you can go directly for that goal. Another thing that can stand in the way of your goals is giving up. Helen Hadsell, who is the greatest contest winner of all time, and she's a Silva graduate and uses the Silva Method, says that at the alpha brain frequency level and at the programming level, there are no failures. Sometimes there are delays, but never failures. When you do Mirror of the Mind, it's as though you're standing on one shore of a river, and you know that what you want is on the other shore. So you throw the anchor to the other shore, and there's a rope between you and that anchor. And you must keep that anchor firmly rooted on the other side and pull yourself across. Well, as you pull yourself across, there may be currents. The water may be cold. There may be rocks that hit you. But you have to keep your eye on the other shore and keep pulling yourself across. If you want to stop sometimes and rest, that's okay. But keep going towards your goal, and you will get there. If you give up halfway and you let go of that rope, you'll be swept down the river. One man came to me and he was very discouraged because he had programmed at level to be able to make a deal with the bank to refinance his house. And by doing that, he would end up having much more money. And he had programmed for it to happen, and at the last minute, it was refused. They said, there's no way we can do it. And he was so disappointed because he needed that money. And he came to me and told me that it had not worked. And I said, that's not true. It can still work. You must go to level again and visualize having your house refinanced. Don't stop. Don't give up. So he went into his level and visualized it happening. And when he got relaxed and pictured that goal, the thought occurred to him, and he had a memory of a woman who can approve these loans in her office. And he remembered her name, and he got up from level and called her, and he took her all the information, and that day she approved the refinancing of his house, and he was able to receive all that extra money. If he had not gone to level that one extra time, then he wouldn't have achieved his goal. So imagine yourself going across a river. Don't stop. There may be delays, but never stop going towards your goal.
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.